Hello, welcome back to the channel. Hero Arts August. First off, that's pretty. Hero Arts August kit is here. Ooh. Oh, I really liked this large stamp set. I saw this stamp set online and I went, oh, that's so pretty. Anyway. Let's have a look. I don't know what this is. Maybe ideas? Hero Art Studio kit. So we have some dies. We have some super pretty inks. Cut baby, cut. As you can see, I haven't opened it or any of it. Reactive palette, and I can't get it open. There must be more sticky tape on it. I can't see any more sticky tape. Anyway, we will, there we go. Sound like the ombre ink colors, but anyway, really yummy. So we have a couple of dies. As I said, this I just loved. I thought that was really funky. I really liked it. So that is, if you can see that, little stones, like not little, big pebbles, big stones. So then we've got this stamp set, which is little scene building. As you can see with these different options you can do with it, with the people and boats and balloons. And a bit of a, it's not a layering, well it is a layering stamp set that you can layer them all together and then have your little scene, but it's not layering over the top of each other. So that is really pretty. So then we've got the coordinating dies that are going to go with that. Yes. So we've got this, the ocean there, the hearts and everything else. So that's very cool. So sending you waves of happiness, enjoy each day, thinking of you, thank you, seize the day, happy birthday, and the coordinating dies that go with that. We have what it looks like more rub-ons. I can't believe rub-ons are making such a big comeback. And, you know, they would have been updated from the old rub-ons that we used to have, you know, because they weren't terribly great. They'd suddenly stopped working and everything else. But that's really pretty. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I don't deal a lot with rub-ons. But they're super nice. Then we've got a standalone little die. A cute little sand castle. So we've got that, and then we've got a whole heap of cardstock. Now I don't know what is in these cardstocks. I can see something pretty. So this just looks like vellum or parchment of different colours and scenery, like sea sort of colours. So you've got two of each of those. So they're pretty thin. And pretty. We have some stunning, can we say, oh yes we can see that. Can we just, like, it's holographic cardstock. It's just, there was some a little bit in the last kit which I still haven't got the video up. By the time you see this you'll have the video up, so you know, in the last kit there was some. But how pretty is that? And then this one is just sort of what I call flatter color because you don't have those waves of everything. So we're going to call that just like a straight holographic cardstock. So that is super pretty. I love this. I don't know what I'm going to do with this vellum and this holographic cardstock, but I love it. So we're going to have a think about it. I quickly jumped on here this morning because there's no one here. So that's always good. Yeah, the husband had a car accident. He's fine. But unfortunately, with the car accident, he had like ripped the side mirror off, and so it's not drivable. So by the time you see all this, it'll be hopefully all done and dusted and fixed up and ready to go. So we're going to have a think about that, and I'll get back to you very soon. Okay, so here I've swatched out all the colours for you to have a look at. They're pretty true to life. They're pretty nice. This is the sentiment, that the stamp set we're going to use today. The first two cards are going to be very similar. They're going to be sort of similar, using the same stamp set, the same inks, the same colouring, the same colours anyway. First off, we've got Tea Dye Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just layering it up, and I'm not too worried if it's a little bit blotchy because this is going to form like my sand. This is going to be like a sympathy card. There is quite a few really nice little images in this stamp set. This time around I'm going to use a boat, some little footsteps, and sort of some, sorry if you can hear that, some water. This is the stamp set, the steps. This is going to be double stamped, second generation stamping. So I've just got a piece of poster tape. I'm going to stamp that off once. I am using the Portobello VersaFine Claire, I think it's called. This is one of the new colours. It's really quite pretty. I have stamped everything 2 times. All the cards, the 2 cards that I use this ink, I've stamped it 2 times. This is Stormy Sky. I'm just wiping off a little bit. I didn't really know how it was going to stamp, so we just sort of dabbed off a little bit so we have a little bit more definition. I'm now going to go back in with the Stormy Skies and just blend this out. This is on white cardstock, so I'm just softening that. I have now got the dark, I've got Prismacolor pencils, I've got the dark brown, I've got the terracotta, which mostly is used for the next card, but there was a little bit because I was trying it out. It is in my hand there, but I do go for the light umber in the end. These stamps have a lot of shadowing already put, so I'm pretty much just putting down some colour, putting the darker colour still in the darker areas, but it's already stamped to have those shadings, so it's a really simple little image to colour, and with my little oil there. The other thing I'm going to do with my water is using I am going to use some blues. Now the first blue, it's too dark. I'm going to remove that. I haven't even listed it over on my blog. We'll go back to that in a minute. Here I'm just adding a few dots around because the sand is not going to be silky smooth. This is the Blue Violet Lake and white, and this is just going to highlight some of my, like where there's ripples, there's going to be a little bit of what's the word, where the wave is breaking. I know it. I have the word. I know I have the word. I just can't think of the word. But anyway, I decided the white gel pen, the Prismacolor pencil, was not giving me as much as I want. So I'm going over with a Jelly Roll pen. This is size 10. You do have to excuse my finger there. It's going to feature, I've had to do a few videos for Paper Rose as well. Not have to, like that's what I do. And I cut my finger just before I had to do all the videos, so there's going to be scattered videos through this month of my finger being damaged. So yeah, I was cutting bread and sliced through half of my finger, the side of my finger, and it was not happiness. It was not happy town. So this is, when I did this video, I think it was a couple of days later. It's still, it's improving, it's healing. Anywho, I'm trimming this down to roughly around about 14.1. I'm using a stitch rectangle by Paper Rose. It's a tiny bit, it's like 14 centimeters by 9.6, where usually I go 14.1 by 9.7. But that's okay. I've raised it up a little bit with some foam, and that's pretty much that card all done. I'm just putting in some more ground to give it a little bit more dimension. And that again is with the same browns, and I'm just trying to do a very, very light hand. I'm working on moving my hand down the pencil, because they say that with pencils and also with paintbrushes, you're moving your hand down, and therefore you can't hold it and be quite so heavy-handed. But I'm working on that. Card number 2, I said it's the same set. We've got the Portobello ink, which is really quite nice, pretty ink. And I am stamping it 2 times for a couple of reasons. This particular card I'm going to go over with this Distress Oxide again, which oxides you leave like a chalky residue, so it's going to dull it down a little bit more. But that's okay. If you didn't like that, you could, because I don't always plan my cards before I do it. So sometimes I might be umming and ahhing, and I'm just like, what am I going to do here? So what you can also do, if you decide to use oxides, you can always leave the stamp back in the MISTI and then stamp it again. But as you can see here, I had other images that I wasn't really going to, I needed to stamp first off. This time we're going to play with the sky. Again, I'm using Stormy Sky Distress Oxide ink. As I said, everything is the same with these first 2 cards, everything is the same. Going over that a couple of times. I did not run my finger over it because I forgot, basically. And I am using a brush just to soften those edges out for a little bit more texture. I've got the tea dye here, and you're going to see that it's going to dull that colour down. It's not going to be quite so dark, which is fine. It's fine. The other thing, obviously, you could do is using the Distress ink rather than oxide for that less chalky image. Before what I thought it was a nice little combination of what we're doing. None of my dyes sort of worked. So what I'm going to do is trim this down by my cutter there. Trying to make sure it's straight and basically going to all the images. I have trimmed off a little bit of the beach huts, but that's okay. This is a little bit of walnut stain with the Distress ink rather than the oxide, just to give my path a little bit more of a dirt sort of look, and the Stormy Skies just to soften that sky up a little bit. But again, I'm going to go in with a gel marker pen. What I do here, it can be really hard to see because A, it's white, and B, we're not zoomed in super close. I did trim out some of that, so I did do the whole image, but with a very, very light, so it jumps and it bounces and it's squiggly sort of thing. I've gone over parts of the sky. You can sort of see it there. I can see it there. Hopefully you can see it in the top of the card that's pointing up that corner. You can sort of see you've got the white little bits, but it's a very loose and very organic line. Again, I'm using the same Prismacolor pencils, except this time I've got the blue, a little bit of blue on the in-between huts. And as I've mentioned, there's a lot of detail in these images. They've put a lot of the shadowing in, so it makes it super easy. I'm not even worrying about the boys and girls because is it a boy and girl? It's one girl, obviously. I think it's 2 girls. You are going to see me using a eraser on some of this because there is somewhere I picked up a little splodges of ink near my life boy thing. And I was trying to get that off and see what happens. But we're going to make do, and we're going to fix that. You're not going to know. You're not going to know, people. I decided it needed a little bit of length. So we've got a black piece of cardstock, which is basically going to be the 14.1 by 9. No, it's not quite that much. Sorry, I just had to go and check the blog. It was 12 by 8.5 centimeters, that black piece. So it's going to stick out on the side a little bit. And I just thought that was a bit of fun. My sentiment here is I'm going to fight with it because it's super sticky. I have taken out me playing with this a little bit, save you a little bit of time. But I do try and make sure that is all nice and straight. So this is Enjoy Each Day. And I'm going to stamp this up a couple of times and then we're going to clear emboss it. So that means that it's going to just stand out that little bit more. And this is where I'm going in and fixing up. So I'm doing a lot more texture on my sand and making these blotches, which aren't like, they're not super dark, they're not super big or anything. So it makes it really easy just to do some little sand definition, some little, because sand is multicolours, you know. It has little colours in with the light sandy colour, light cream, whatever you want to call it. Well, that's what happens with beaches around here. I know there's plenty of places where you don't actually have beach, they have rocks, which is a super cool sound. Have you ever been to a beach that has rocks on the beach, like little pebbles, rather than the sand? I mean, sand is broken down rocks, but you know what I mean? It's a very cool sound. So this was out of the kit. Very pretty glossy cardstock. So this is going to be the 14.1 by 9.7 and it's going to have a little mat. It's just, this embossing folder is Altenew. It's decorative florals. It's super gorgeous and super deep. I wasn't too sure where to put my sentiment, so we're going to skip over a little bit and you're going to see me with a bit of bling on my card because I just didn't like it. Did not like it at all. So this is Blackberry Bliss by Stampin' Up. I don't know whether they've still got this colour, but I really like it, so I may have hoarded a bit. The next thing, I'm also going to put this card did not work the way I wanted it to work. I am going to glue this card down, but you're going to come back later on, you're going to see that it's not glued down, and basically I decided to rip it off and change my mind where I was going. So the original thought was to die cut this happy birthday out, gold emboss it and put it into the corner. But I didn't like that. So what I did was, with a bit of vellum out of the kit, now this is a grey vellum, it also has like I think you call it like a holographic, because it's a little bit, if you move it in a certain way, it's a little bit of that metallic-y green that you get sometimes with that holographic cardstock and stuff. So it's very, very pretty. I have a little bit of the thank you sentiment over it, like embossed on it, wrapped around the edge. You can see here where I've ripped it off the other piece of cardstock, but it's going to work out because it's actually going to give it a tiny little bit more dimension. So that is pretty much my 3 cards for today. And the new kit comes out on Monday, so I'm ahead. Yay. Take care. Talk to you soon.